start my day anywhere between 4 a.m. and 4:30 a.m. from Monday to Sunday, even if it's a bank holiday. My routine is very fixed. After my morning shower, I
Mm-hmm.
immediately take an Uber to my clinic from my house and try to reach my clinic by before 5 a.m. And I start my day with a puja, which goes for about 10 to 15 minutes. I chant. Then, after chanting and after the puja, I make a cup of coffee and then immediately open my computer and start studying. Sometimes I take a book, sometimes I open my computer and study from the lectures of different doctors, not necessarily homeopathy, but even in the subject of medicine, surgery, gynec, skin disease, etc. etc. Some days I reserved only for reading the cases from the old journals. So, as you know, a lot of our software programs have old journals included in them. So, I read old journals. Some days I read the therapeutic, some days I read Materia Medica. This goes on from almost 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. So, 2 hours of study in that particular way. From 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., I prepare my lectures. As you know, I teach internationally for last more than 40 years, even nationally. So I have to prepare my PowerPoint and I have to prepare my cases. And so or if I cannot complete those, I leave something for my assistants that when they join me at 10 o'clock, they can carry on the further work. So this goes on around till 9 a.m. At 9 a.m., I have a small breakfast. I love South Indian food, so I usually order my food from Zomato, or sometimes my compounder also makes some small things like idli or poha or something like that. And at 9:30, I start seeing my first patient. I have been helped by my assistants. Around 12 to 13 doctors work with me. I only work half a day. I don't work full day. So clinic starts at 9:30 a.m. and I work till about 2:30 in the p.m. in the noon. We have follow-ups in the beginning, and after the follow-ups are finished, we start taking new cases. I see only 3 new patients in a day. So I don't see more patients in a day, but
Okay.
follow-ups I see around 35 to 40 follow-ups I see. Of course, as I said, supported by my assistants. So like that, it keeps on going on. There are some doctors which are only resort to take up telephones calls from the patients and then write down their symptoms and then show it to me. There are some doctors who only work on repertorization, so they work on repertorization. There are some doctors who have to feed in the data in the computer. So every doctor has a different duty. My duty is to just prescribe the medicine and talk with the patient and confirm the symptoms which patient has already given, or advise investigation, do physical examination, which is very important part in my practice, and make a diagnosis. So the medical legal aspect of diagnosis, differential diagnosis, investigation, all these are very, very, very important. It's not only just that you don't touch your patient, no touch technique. We have to examine, we have to feel the patient. I spent around hour and a half with new patient, trying to gain their trust, trying to understand their problem, be sympathetic to them. I never tell my patient why you came so late, why you went to other doctor, you should not have taken allopathy, and all those negativity is never there in part of my communication with anybody, whether it's my assistant, patient, doctor, relative, friends. I'm always a very positive guy. And even if the person comes at a very dying stage, terminal stage, I still try to give them some hope. So that's till 2 o'clock, as I said. After 2 o'clock, I have a small lunch. So lunch is usually a dal, rice and a sabji.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes without rice, I take chapati and some bhaji, something like that. I have no food fadism, so I eat all the vegetables. So, and then by finishing at 3 o'clock, again I sit back alone, now without the patient, with few assistants, not all the assistants. And again, I try to work on those cases which has really not improved or which are where I am having difficulty in getting the results. So this goes on from 2 p.m. to almost say 4:30 p.m. At 4:30 p.m., I take an Uber and go back to my house in Kolaba. Again, I come home, have a cup of tea or coffee, and exactly at 5:30, I do a charitable clinic in my society where I live. I see people free of charge, people who are poor, people who cannot afford. They come to me at my residence to show report or to take my advice or take some prescription. This goes on till around 6:45. So around 6:45 I do that. 7 p.m. to 7:15 p.m. I try to eat an early dinner. Dinner is mostly very, very light, so it is still smaller than the lunch. And then I try to sleep as early as possible. I am not a night person. I cannot go to night shows or I cannot go to night functions also. So I don't attend marriages and I don't attend evening functions. Even though I'm a member of many clubs, but I hardly socialize, Maximum that I do if I have time is to take an evening walk in the garden. So maybe half an hour walk or 25 minutes walk I take and then immediately go to bed after my walk and get up between 4 and 4:30 and start another day. But some days I work in hospital also, so that routine of my clinic gets broken up. On Tuesdays I go to K.E.M. Hospital. Once in a month I go to K.E.M. Hospital, Pune. Then I go to Bombay Hospital on Monday. Then on Saturday I run a cancer department in K.E.M. Hospital, Parel. So like that I have to do some free work, outpatient work to keep myself busy. Sometimes I hold camps also. So mostly on Sunday I try to hold camp with some charitable organization. At least 2 camps in 2-3 months I do it on a large scale. There are many religious Sikh gurudwaras where I run my charitable clinic. So mostly I do my camps over there. In short, I always feel, Mamta, that time waste is life waste. So I give a lot of importance to time. I don't allow myself to remain free at all. I remain miles away from any other extra curricular activities. Now, whenever I have a free time that comes in between, either I play some indoor games with my wife, like cards or carom or something like that, or we go out, as I said, for long walks in the garden. I don't go to theaters much to see movies. So if I have to entertain myself, I'll just open a television and see Netflix. I don't watch news. I don't read newspaper. I don't subscribe newspaper. I am miles away from news and politics and what is happening in India and what is happening in the world. No, I am not a great fan of keeping myself up to date in world politics and world matters. I am very much interested in learning something good videos on Materia Medica, good lecture. As you know very well, I demand from you regularly, please send me the lecture of so-and-so doctor. I want to hear, if you remember, and you kindly send me. So I study those videos in my free time, make some notes out of it. Everybody has got something good to say. Everybody is there to teach me. And so this is how I live my life, Mamta.